All right, let's dive into one of the absolute weirdest, most vivid, and let's be honest, confusing verses in the entire book of Revelation. We're talking about a vision of frog like spirits coming out of the mouths of a dragon and a beast. It's imagery that has seriously puzzled people for centuries. But today, we're going to put the pieces together and figure out what it all means. So here it is, Revelation 16, verse 13. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. I mean, wow, spirits that look like frogs coming out of mouths. It sounds like something straight out of a fantasy epic, right? So the big question is, what could this possibly mean? This isn't just random, weird imagery. No way. The interpretations we're going to explore suggest that every single symbol here, the dragon, the beast, the frogs, even the mouths, is a critical piece of a much bigger puzzle. So let's start putting those pieces together. First things first, we've got to identify the main characters in this scene. The sources describe them as a kind of unholy trinity. Think of it as a counterfeit of a divine idea, totally united in their opposition. First up is the dragon. And no, we are not talking about a literal fire-breathing lizard here. In this kind of symbolic language, the dragon actually represents Satan, the main spiritual force of deception in the world. Next, we have the beast. Now, this figure represents the worldly system, corrupt political powers and empires. It's basically the earthly manifestation of the dragon's spiritual deception, and it's powered by that very same lie. And the third member of this trio is the false prophet. This symbolizes apostate religion. Religious systems that claim they're speaking for God but have become corrupted, twisting the truth and leading people astray. So what we have are three totally distinct realms of influence: the spiritual, the political, and the religious. But the really crucial takeaway here is that they're all working together. They are one unified force of opposition. Okay, so we've identified the who, but how do they attack? Well, the next clue in the verse reveals that their main weapon isn't physical at all. It's something else entirely. Did you notice the repetition in the verse? The spirits come out of the mouth. That phrase is repeated 3 times, which really emphasizes that this is not a battle of swords and shields. It's a battle of words, of teachings, of ideas. And if we dig into the original Greek, it gets even clearer. The word used for mouth here is stoma, and it means more than just a physical mouth. It's the source of speech, of teachings, of official decrees. This tells us the weapon of this unholy trinity is basically propaganda, lies, and false doctrines. Which, of course, brings us to the strangest symbol of all, the frogs. Why frogs? I mean, of all things. Well, the key to understanding this actually lies in a very famous story from the Old Testament. Remember the plague of frogs in Egypt? They came up from the Nile and just covered everything, making life absolutely unbearable. There's a direct parallel here. Just like those frogs were a physical plague, these symbolic frog-like spirits represent a plague of words, unclean, deceptive ideas that flood the world, causing tons of confusion and rebellion. And just to really hammer the symbolic meaning home, the Greek word for spirits here is pneuma. Now, it doesn't just mean a ghost, it can also mean a breath, a force, or an influence. So what we're really talking about are 3 unclean influences that spread like a plague. So, let's put all these clues together. We've got the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. We have a plague of words coming straight from their mouths. What does it all add up to? Well, it represents the complete unification of these 3 powers. They're working as a single unit, speaking with one voice and releasing the same deceptive influence out into the world. And their ultimate goal, as you can see here, is to choke off the flow of truth by twisting it into lies. Now, this whole wild vision is really designed to set up a powerful contrast. It isn't just describing an evil force, it's highlighting what that force stands in opposition to. And here you see the 2 opposing sides laid out so clearly. On the one hand, you have this unholy trinity, spewing out a flood of counterfeit words and unclean spirits. But this is set against a verse from the Gospel of John, where Jesus offers something completely different: rivers of living water that flow from within. So ultimately, this vision isn't about monsters and amphibians at all. It's a symbolic depiction of a really fundamental conflict. a confusing plague of deception versus a life-giving river of truth. It is a battle of ideas. And that leaves us with a final thought. In our modern world, where we are just constantly bombarded with information, disinformation, and all these competing narratives, how does this ancient symbolism of a plague of words resonate with your experience today? It's something to think about.